yes. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabrielle Tongle, but you can call me Gabs. And today is a very, very special Buff Bunny collection try on review because it is actually the collaboration between Teresa and Buff Bunny collection on her Vida collection. And let me tell you, this one has been so cool to be behind the scenes on. Obviously, the Libre sisters knew, and the fact that we've been able to see all the behind the scenes of the making of Vida, the samples, the back and forth, and being a part of the campaign, the photos, everything. It has been absolutely just such an experience to be so close to Teresa in all of this that's been happening, and now being at this stage where it's now out there for the world to get their hands on it and be wearing the Vida pieces that she has worked with the Buff Bunny collection team so hard on, like just seeing all the different details that went into it, both on Teresa's end as well as the design team. It's just absolutely amazing to see what they've created in this collection. And this is definitely going to be one of the best launches of this year. And I am just so happy that it is Teresa's collection because she has just worked so damn hard and has put so much thought into this for you guys, for her in representation of Mexico, and just everything. And it's just so beautiful to see everything come together. And again, just big congratulations, Teresa, to you on this opportunity. And thank you so much for having me be a part of it in any way that I have been leading up to this point. I am just so incredibly happy for you. And I love that my Libre sisters, both of them, have a collab. And I just can't wait to have them both beside each other. And I love how different they are. Like, obviously, Teresa is very light, bright. And then, you know, Kara's is more on like the darker tones. And I love having them together, and they're both so much of them, you know, like it's such a clear representation of each of them. And I'm just so excited to have another Libre sisters collab in my closet. So with that being said, I have so much behind the scenes to share that I'll sprinkle in throughout the video. I have a lot of things to say about some of the pieces here, and I am just so excited to share all those details. So if you guys want the details for the Vida collection coming up on Saturday, May 17 at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, then just keep watching. So as always, here is a little bit about the collection itself. I'm sure Teresa will tell you way better than I can when it comes to the thoughtfulness and everything behind the campaign, the name Vida, everything like that. Oh, okay. All right. So Vida, we are definitely all learning a little bit of Spanish in this collection. That is for sure, especially when you get to the names. Let me make sure I get you guys on the right pronunciation of the color names because your girl got corrected and then fully forgot like literally an hour later. But Vida equals life. And this is such a powerful name for Teresa's collection because it really represents Teresa's life and, you know, all the things that she's been through to get to where she is today. And I love the story that they put behind it. And just the campaign video is just so beautiful. And so I'll let you guys go watch that and hear it from Teresa herself when it comes to the meaning behind Vida and all the things that were incorporated into the campaign video and in this collection in general. So I'll leave that for her. I will have to say she did initially want it to be called FLIRTY. So Vida was the next best selection, but it was going to be FLIRTY because that is so Teresa. I always go between saying Teresa and Teresa. So if I do a little hybrid, it's because I'm like shy to say it in the Spanish way because I'm like, am I saying it right? But then I'm like, that's also how you pronounce her name. But anyways, Teresa, you'll hear me say it differently throughout the entire video. But anyways, go watch the campaign videos and watch all the behind the scenes there for a more in-depth explanation to the entire collection and its name. All right, just a few housekeeping things. As you guys know, my videos are quite long. So if you're here for a minute, grab a snack, get comfy, take your notes. Speaking of notes, the PDF, you guys know GabFam always gets a free PDF with every single collection. You want to know how many is in this one? Just get ready. Just come a little closer and get ready to hear the final number. 309 pages in this free PDF. If you guys tell me that I did not give you enough comparisons and enough detail, I don't know anymore. Fire me from this job because I don't know. 309 pages is insanity. That is probably one of the biggest PDFs that we have ever done for a collection. So you're welcome. Obviously, as always, as I credit throughout the entire PDF, it's not all of my photos. It's not only my efforts when it comes to the images that are included in there, but holy, that is a lot of pages. But you know, we had to make sure we had all the details for this collection as always, but this one's definitely a little bit insane. So in there is an insane more amount of images, comparisons, you know, quick details and summarized thoughts that I have on sizing and certain pieces. There's also a ton of images in there of the campaign. So if you guys want to see some closer kind of like detail shots or images of all of us wearing the pieces, I have included a lot of those in there. And that's the beauty of being able to have been a part of the campaigns, is that I have so much more content and so much more images to share with you guys when it comes to all of us wearing all the different pieces. So highly, if there's any PDF for you guys to stop and download, it is going to be this one, because there is just so much in there. So please pause the video. I'm still going to be here when you come back. Download the free PDF in the link in bio and then come back, because it's always in the order of the YouTube video as well. So as you're watching me, you can also be flipping through the PDF, making notes if you want, you know, just saving pages that you like, whatever, because the only way that we get these videos to be below an hour and 15 is if we have everything in this PDF. So if you guys are missing any images or details that you're looking for that I do not say or have on the screen, it is most likely in that PDF. So if I haven't made it obvious enough, I need you to go download that free PDF, okay? Now, with that being said, if for whatever reason, after this video and after that PDF, I have not answered your questions, please comment down below or send me a message over on Instagram by replying to a question box. Prior to every collection, I always pop up a question box. So this is going to be the best way for you guys to bump your questions, add questions, whatever that might be. If you guys need a longer text box, send me a DM and then reply to that story box and say, look at my DM. And that is going to be your best way so that I don't miss your DMs. I will say I am terrible at managing my DMs. So that is going to be the best way to do that. The even better way to get a hold of me is joining my free Discord community. I am always in there making sure I'm on top of answering all the questions, all the messages. So you could also go in there too. So lots of different ways to reach out to me if you feel like I still have not given you the answers that you're looking for to make you feel confident in your order for this weekend. So just a few different outlets there. There may be some giveaways happening over on Instagram and throughout this video. So I'd highly recommend that you guys just pay attention a little bit, because there are some chances for you to win some free money. And I mean, who doesn't love that in this economy, you know? Last but not least, if you guys want to show any love and support for anything and everything that I do for any collection, you guys can use the code GABS to save 10% off your order. And this not only saves you guys some money, I do make a small commission from this. And it does also let the team know, like, hey, keep Gabs around. We love her. We still need her to help us out. And just #GabFam. So if you guys choose to do that, please make sure to let me know, because I always like to say thank you, because out of all the codes out there, you guys are choosing to use mine. And that really, really means a lot, because I would not be doing what I'm doing right now if it weren't for you. Always, always, always. So I always like to give credit where credit is due, because we are in this relationship together. And if I help you, you help me. You know what I mean? Like, we are all just winning in all of this. So that is all the housekeeping that I have. Let's get into the actual collection. Now, going into the colorways, we are definitely into spring, summer, because look at the brightness. Look at the vibrance, okay? Like, you can't tell me you don't feel like you are on a tropical vacation in Mexico right now with all the different colors. And the minute that I saw all the colors laid out when I was there in Houston, I was like, holy, these colors are absolutely stunning, and definitely so many new favorites for a lot of you guys, for sure, like hands down. So this could not be a more perfect kind of transitional collection into the bright, bright colors, and some definitely new fan favorites. So we have Tequila Sunrise, which is probably one of my favorite oranges that we've seen in a minute. And Teresa explained this so perfectly, that it is a perfect kind of in between the brighter and the darker oranges. That's definitely going to be good for so many different people's skin tones and preferences. And it's just so perfect. Like, it's like a peach, but it's also still on the orange side. I don't know. It's just, like I've told you guys so many times, Buff Bunny collection blows my mind on so many different, slightly adjusted versions of certain colors that when you look at it at a quick glance, you're like, oh, that's definitely that color. But then when you put it side by side, it's like, it's definitely not. So it's just so cool to see all the different things that they're able to do with all these colors to make them even more unique to one another. And I just, like I said, I'm continuously blown away by the different color shades that they're able to change it up ever so slightly to just be even better, or just another option for a different person. And so Tequila Sunrise, I can foresee being everyone's new favorite orange for sure, because it just mixes so well with other colors as well. And it's just so beautiful and just, it's perfect. Candy Crush, we've seen before. We love her. I love all the vibrant pinks that we've been getting. I am wearing Hibiscus, which is slightly different from Candy Crush, but it does look very, very similar. This is Candy Crush right here. And I don't know if you can really tell the difference. It's like ever so slightly. The camera might not be picking it up, but me looking at it this way, almost going cross-eyed, I can definitely tell that this one's just a little bit more like on the blue tone, I guess you could say, where this is more of like a true pink, I think. So yeah, definitely hard to tell, but if you were to put them side by side, like in person, you could definitely tell a little bit of a difference. And even in comparing it to the Rosita pink in the Pillow Tote teaser, gonna talk about this later, they're all slightly different, but they match really nicely at the same time though. So we have Rosita Pink as well. I literally just transitioned to that. And then we have Sunrise Ombre, which is the bra that I'm wearing underneath here, which is for the Vida seamless pieces. It is such a beautiful ombre. I'm a sucker for some nice seamless ombre, and this one is so beautiful. And like I said, just so perfect going into spring, summer, and I love her so, so much. You guys know I just love my pinks in general. Like clearly, we are pink, pink, pink. Pink is just my go-to. So I love all the different variations of pink that we're getting in this collection. And then we have Playa. So it does look like it says Playa, but it's Playa. This is something that Teresa had corrected us all immediately. The minute that we all changed into this color, she said, "Okay, everybody, it's Playa, not Playa." I got into an interview for the campaign and they're like, "Tell us what you're wearing." I'm like, "Playa." Like, she literally just told us it's Playa, okay? So playa means ocean, I believe. And again, really, really stemming to some of Teresa's roots. And I love that she incorporated so much of her culture into the names, into the pieces, and everything like that. So that is where playa comes in. So Spanish word number 2. Yeah. I guess Rosita actually is also Spanish. That means like little Rosa. So technically it's our 3rd Spanish word so far. And then we have a Siren Holographic. This one, immediately when I saw it, I said, this is a mermaid tail color. Like when you think mermaid and you think of their tail and like the holographicness there, immediately I think of Siren Holographic because of the teals and the blue that's in there. It is so stunning. And you guys know me, I'm not a huge fan of holographic, but I feel like this one was nice and subtle and it looks really good as well. It's not too out there for those like myself who like can't pull it off. But if you love holographic, you know we only see her very, very occasionally throughout the years at BUFFBUNNY collection, then you'll definitely want to add this one to your closet because she is a very beautiful mix of the teals and the blues that are within this Vida collection. So that one was really nice. And oh my God, under the sun especially, it's absolutely stunning. So Siren Holographic is definitely going to be a favorite, I'm sure. But if you guys have been looking for, like I said, a nice holographic color that we haven't seen in a minute, then this one will be the one for you guys. Next, we have Azul. We saw Azul come out way earlier into the year, but as you guys can probably put 2 and 2 together, this is supposed to debut in Vida, but then there was, like I said, a little sneak, if you will, of the Vida collection earlier on this year. But clearly, when you think of why is it in Spanish, you know that it's coming from Teresa. And so Azul was a baby of Vida. So we are seeing Azul again, but I love how we've seen her a few times already this year and everyone's already fallen in love with her. I like to describe her as, it's kind of like the I think it was rainwater blue, and then a little bit of the was it periwinkle? No, it was like peri something. There was a whole little capsule on all this peri color. But anyways, I feel like it's a really nice mix of a blue and a purple. It's obviously more true on the blue, hence Azul, but it is like it's a mixture of that is what I find when I look at it, like first off, and then when I put it side by side to those colors, I definitely see kind of like a fusion of all of that. So beautiful, beautiful blue. And then different materials definitely kind of gives off a different like vibe to it. But overall it is definitely more on the blue side than it is on the purple side. But like I said, I think it's just a beautiful, unique blue color. And I just love that we have more pieces because I have all these Azul pieces from earlier this year that didn't have a jacket or a top or something like that. And now we have some options to kind of add into that. Next, we have Mar, which is, I think, sand, or am I getting it ocean? Or is that ocean? Maybe Mar is ocean and playa is beach, I think. I don't want to Google it right now. I'm going to see when I'm editing if I'm correct, but I'm pretty sure Mar is ocean now that I think of it, because the color is also like a more tealish blue. And playa is maybe beach, I think. I'm gonna say that's my final answer, and I'll find out when I'm editing. Next, we have teal, which is a more like true teal versus Mar. Mar is a little bit more, I would say, on the blue side, but it's like a deeper ocean blue. Next, we have leche, which is milk, and we only have like, I think, one piece in leche, if I'm not wrong, and that's one of the baby teas. And that's the Vida baby tea, which I'll talk about later. And then we have oat milk, which we have seen before as well. And then we have white, onyx black, and charcoal. But like looking at this color palette, like tell me that just does not scream vacation. Like absolutely it does. And it's so funny because when Teresa shared her mood board for the collection, this color palette could not be more of that mood board. Like I said, Teresa and the design team absolutely knocked it out of the park of really bringing her vision to life when it comes to colors and pieces and everything like that. And it's just, I love seeing the end result of everything after seeing all the behind the scenes. It's just absolutely a work of art. Starting with the sports bras, we have the NUBRE Notch Sports Bra. This one is a new design that we have not seen yet, and she is super flattering, and I'd say a nice modern notch versus all the different notch designs we've seen previously. Some of them have been very out there, a lot of clavage, as I like to say, where this one I feel was a good amount where like, yeah, there's some clavage there, but I didn't feel like I was super, super out there or like it was something that I'd only wear like out and about kind of thing or like only at home. Like you guys know how I have some bras where I'm like, yeah, that's not really gonna make it to the gym or like out and about in the public. Like this is more like at home, under a sweater. This is not one of those. I really, really did like this one. And the back was a very unique design as well. Teresa was saying that it was kind of inspired by the Siren bra, I believe, from Under the Sea, where it kind of had that keyhole there and then it had some two straps, but like those straps didn't really do anything. So that was a little bit of the inspiration there. But I do love that we have a nice, cute little design. And you will notice that throughout this collection, a lot of the bras are on the shorter line, which is something that was very important to Teresa because while we are BTC and while we are also short and short torso, we don't always want a too long of a line bra. You know me, I love my long bras. I don't mind when my leggings and my bra bands meet, but I also appreciate when I do have a little bit of gap between my bra and my leggings to show a little bit of skin and make it seem like I do have a bit of a torso, even though it's non-existent. So I do love that Teresa really wanted to incorporate that into her collection. And I will say they delivered, and they do have a lot of great options that are not short line where like you're gonna pop out, but it's also not super long line where things are meeting, you know, overlapping on the leggings and the bras. So you will notice a lot of 1-inch bottom bands, which is very intentional, that Teresa wanted to have for this collection. So with the NUBRE Notch Sports Bra, it does have a 1-inch elastic at the bottom, but what's really cool about this one is that it's actually on the inside of the garment. So usually you would see the band very visibly through the stitching and everything like that on the outside, but this one's actually hidden on the inside. So it makes for a very, very seamless design when you're looking at the bra. So it looks really, really good. And like I said, it's a nice length, but still gives me all the coverage. I think that they did an incredible job for the BTC in this collection, which I'm not surprised whatsoever, given that Teresa is part of the BTC, that they thought about the coverage and the support in all of these bras. And this one definitely checked that box of giving me that coverage and support that I wanted. Now, none of these are going to be like, oh yeah, I'm running in any of these or anything, but at least I have the coverage and support to feel like I am covered up, but I still can look cute and sexy and still have a little bit of something going on, but not having to be worried about, am I about to flash the world? You know, like I love that there's a diverse amount of designs in this collection that is specifically going to be okay for the BTC to rock and feel comfortable in. And so the NUBRE Notch Sports Bra, definitely BTC approved. We will be seeing this one in 5 different colors. Next up, we have the ROSITA sports bra, and quite literally, she is the smaller version of the Rosa bra. It is the exact same throughout, other than the fact that it now has a 1-inch elastic band at the bottom. It's not its traditional longer line band like we see in the Dream Heather sports bra. So just keep that in mind, that it is a Rosa bra, but just a little bit shorter. So everything that you loved about the Rosa when it comes to the straps, when it comes to the coverage, when it comes to the back, everything is the same there, except it's just a little bit shorter. And I can say that is exactly what you're wearing. And so I love that they kept all of the things that we loved about the Rosa and just made her a little bit shorter. You guys know that the Rosa sports bra is the OG NUBRE sports bra that was BTC approved. And so I love that we have a little sister to her, and I hope that she sticks around because, like I said, I do love now that I have quite a few options for the shorter line bras that I don't feel are only for under my sweaters or an at-home bra, because that has always been my thing when it comes to shorter line bras, is that there's just a little too much for me personally for the most part. So it does feel really good to see some nice shorter line bras that are going to work for me in the gym. Like I said, as I was talking about the Notch sports bra, this one does have the elastic visible on the outside, so more so the stitching. So you'll see the difference there, that one is a little bit more hidden, one is more visible, but it's both the same length when it comes to having that 1-inch bottom band. Next bra is another new design, and that is the POSHKNIT Revolution Curve sports bras. This name is very, very long. Okay, let me just acknowledge that first. These names are getting a little long here. I do miss when he had the more like short and like fun ones, but I get to that sometimes just being straight up about what the name is also one thing. But this one is the POSHKNIT Revolution Curve sports bra. 5 words there. And this one is quite literally a hybrid of the Revolution and the Curve sports bra. Inspiration from both bras that we've seen before. I will say for myself, again, just the way my body is and the way that when I sit, you know, my bra kind of rolls up a little bit on like a bra like that. The Curve, you could definitely more so tell when I'm like stretching my upper body up like this, or when I like, you know, actually fix it. So that's one thing that I did notice, is that as I'm sitting, it does like kind of curve, like curl in, but nothing that bothers me or anything like that, or takes away from the design itself, just something that I wanted to note. But like when I was working out in it, I was doing Legree, you could definitely tell like the curve was there and everything with all the movements I was doing and everything. And I didn't feel like my underbust was going to pop out whatsoever. I also love the coverage on it. So because they did take some of that Revolution bra and gave us that square neckline. Yes, we got daintier straps, but they did keep that square neckline. And Teresa always keeps in mind the side boob coverage. We do have that from this bra, which is really great. Thank God for the adjustable straps, because if it weren't for the adjustable straps, I don't think it would be as comfortable for me as it is. You guys know I love an adjustable strap moment. Like if I could, I would have every single bra have adjustable straps, truly. Like that would be my ultimate wish, is that if every bra we ever get had an adjustable strap, I would be a happy clam, you know? But this one specifically, I will say, because of that adjustability, I can wear this spaghetti strap a little bit longer. Now, I will say that I do get a little bit of gaping happening at the top here, but it's nothing too crazy, but it is something that I did notice. I did try a medium to see if that helped. It does, but then I get so much side boob, and especially with a daintier strap like that, I would rather just not have that. So I do have a little bit of gaping, but it's nothing like, oh, I don't want to wear this bra or anything like that. So it's just something that you more so notice when you're like doing any movements where like you could really accentuate it. So it's just something that I wanted to mention, and not everyone had it. So I think it really just depends on the width of your chest as well, and just the way that it's going to lay on you. So just keep that in mind, that, like I said, you can size down. So I think for the IBTC, itty bitty titty community, yeah, IBTC, not ITBC. IBTC, you guys could definitely get away with sizing down. I know a few with the smaller cups have been sizing down because it does allow for just a little bit more of a smaller titty moment. I know that the fuller coverage is not something that a lot of the smaller chest girls love, but it is something that the BTC just needed. Like the BTC needed their moment, okay? So like I get there's not a lot of smaller bras like in general, but I do think that these will still work for a lot of the cup sizes, whether you're on the smaller side or the bigger side. But like I said, for the IBTC, you guys could definitely size down if you wanted to just have a little less material, you know? So yeah, there was a little bit of gaping, but nothing crazy. And the adjustability does help a little bit as well. And so yeah, I do think that for a spaghetti strap bra, this one is really, really good in that sense. And I'm really, really happy with it as a BTC option. This one would be one of those that's really good under like the halo tee or anything like that, because it's very just like plain. There's not too much detailing, and even the like curved hem at the bottom, again, you can't see the seams on the outside, it's only on the inside, so it does look really like, again, seamless. So when you put it underneath a material that is thinner, where it can show all the details of whatever bra you're wearing, I would say this is one of those good options, definitely. Next up is the Twilight Dream Heather sports bra. You guys know I love her so much. She became a top favorite immediately when we saw her earlier this year, and she continues to be high up there. She was my favorite set to wear when we were doing photos, and like no surprise whatsoever, but especially in the playa color. Oh my gosh, it is so freaking stunning. Like so good. Like I thought I loved the lavender, but this playa color is just so beautiful and I love her so much. And I realized I did not even get her in my PR, but yet I was obsessed with her when we were shooting. So I am most definitely going to be buying that myself on Saturday, because it is just such a beautiful color. And with the changes that they've made with the Dream Heather from the very first time that we saw her last year versus what we've seen in her in the collections this year of One More, I feel like they've improved the Dream Heather pieces in general just so well. So the Twilight Heather sports bra is 100% a top pick, again, when it comes to the coverage and support. Now, again, because it is the Dream Heather fabric, like it's not like ultra supportive where like, again, I'm running or jumping. But when I talk about the coverage that you get from this design, it is just truly what a BTC girly would want and more. And I just couldn't be happier with it, with the thick straps, the sweetheart neckline, just everything. I've yapped about her so much when we first saw her, and I still love her so much now. And I would really, really just love her in like a performance fabric, because then that would be my new go-to running bra 1000%, because like I said, the coverage just incredible. Now this one is going to be our longer line bra that we're seeing in this collection. So as I've been saying with all the other bras, they are much more on the shorter side and the 1-inch band. This one does have the traditional longer line band that we usually see in, say, like the Alpha, the original Rosa, the Revolution. So this one specifically is going to be your long line bra. And like I said, the playa, you just need her. You need her. I'm definitely gonna get the oat milk as well to go with my oat milk flirty flow shorts, because you know me, I am a matchy girl through and through. Now I will say these colors do mix and match really nicely in this collection, like really, really nicely, but I'm still my matchy girl. You guys know that. Because when your girl's not matchy, it's like, what is going on? Is she okay? Is she just wanting to try something new? But yeah, love my matchy moment. So with all the previous things that we've seen this year that we're now seeing in this one, I'm definitely pairing her, because we need some matchiness going. Next bra is 100% going to be my new favorite seamless sports bra, and that is the Vida seamless sports bra. Again, with the design, we did so good at making sure that it was something that was going to be supportive and give the coverage. You guys know that I'm all about those two factors right there, is support, coverage, support, coverage. Support, when I say that, is like how locked and loaded you feel. Coverage is quite literally the surface area coverage that we're getting. So this one did a really good job. I feel like even though we've seen high necklines and all that stuff in the Form Seamless, this one is hands down the best seamless bra that they've done thus far, because of the structure of everything and the details that they put in to make sure that it actually gave the support and coverage that we were looking for. I think the biggest misconception sometimes with BTC is that you assume that it always just needs to be a high neck or like totally cover the cleavage, but that's not necessarily the case all the time. And so I love that we have a seamless bra that, again, gives you that support and that coverage to feel good and covered. It still has the same support level, I would say, than we've always seen in the seamless pieces, and even in general that I would, categorize the NUBRE and everything like that. But we are getting, I don't know how many fucking times I'm going to say it in this video, we are getting the coverage, okay? Just the design and the way that we have the lats being tucked in the back too is truly something that I can appreciate, especially with someone like myself where I carry a lot of my body fat in my upper body and more so specifically in my midsection and my back. I love that we have this intentional design of tucking in the lats through the back of this bra, and they truly killed it. The design team and Teresa really thought about all the things that the BTC would have complained about, you know? And I think that's something huge that I'm noticing in this collection is like, I don't have a lot to say on like the negative side, I guess you could say, for the BTC, because they really thought about all the things that maybe I've said and maybe customers have said as well, and obviously things that Teresa has noticed as well for herself. And I love seeing change. I love seeing improvement. And I think that's a huge thing about Buff Bunny Collection, is that they really are listening to the customers, the athletes, and doing what they can to really make those adjustments that will cater to, you know, the community that is expressing, you know, their concerns. But you have to also remember they have to cater to the others as well, and making sure that a lot of these bras can be diverse and something that all different body types, all different cup sizes are going to gravitate towards. So I think they did a really good job of balancing that with this seamless bra and a lot of the bras in this collection as well. So I do want to give kudos to that as someone who does tear apart the bras quite a bit. So I'll be a little easier on this one for sure. But yeah, going back to just all the details, the keyhole in the back, the sweetheart neckline in the front, and again, this ombre situation happening is just so good. Like, just everything about this bra, the details, the structure, the fit, the fabric, everything I love a lot. One thing I will say is that I do have a medium in the azul, and then I do have a large in this pink sunrise ombre one. And with the medium one, it did give me more support, as sizing down always does for me. However, I do get more clavage, which sizing down always does for me. And then I do get a little side boob, which sizing down always does for me. But I did feel like it was nice to wear it to the degree to feel like I was a little bit more like locked in. However, what I will say is that after wearing it for probably about 8 hours in my day, I did start to get a little bit irritated in my back, like where the lats are tucked in. That edge there gave me a little bit of an irritation, which makes sense if the bra is technically like too small or too tight. So I would say that ultimately at the end of the day, the size large is going to be my preferred size, even though the medium does give me that more support. So I'd say if I'm wearing the medium, it's more so just going to be for my workout, maybe a quick errand, and then I'm going to change out of it when I come home, just because sitting in that all day did, like I said, irritate the back side there, being a little bit tight, pinching on my skin. So that's just something that I wanted to know when it comes to the sizing on the Vida seamless bra that I noticed in comparing the two sizes. Pausing the very informative video that you guys are watching right now to give yourself a little bit of a brain breather, a little bit of a cry at how much you're about to spend on Saturday, and giving you an opportunity for me to give you some money into your wallet. So with that being said, welcome to the YouTube giveaway here. I am giving away two $25 gift cards over here on YouTube. All you have to do is follow these instructions on the screen. I will say you have a significantly higher chance of winning over here, given how little people enter here versus Instagram. So if you guys want a chance to win a $25 gift card, enter here for sure. Follow these simple steps, and I'll be choosing the winner Saturday morning, well before the exclusive 2-hour early access to Discord. Yeah, in case you missed it, the Buff Bunny Collection Discord will be getting a 2-hour early access. They have never, ever done this for any collection. So if you guys want that early access, I highly recommend you join their free Discord community. And like I said, I'll be sure to choose the winner, give you your gift card well before that early access in case you're opting in for that. So follow these rules, enter there, and don't forget there's also 2 more opportunities over on my Instagram to win a $50 gift card. So enter this one, and then don't forget at the end of this video to go over on Instagram to enter to win a $50 one. So with that being said, let's get back to the video. Last bra is the Soul Sports Bra. Now you might recognize her as previously being the Solar Sports Bra from a very old collection, which was the NUBRE collection. And it's funny because I remember shooting this NUBRE collection with my brother so many years ago in this area in Calgary. That's now where I go to Legree, and it's so much more developed than it was back then. Like back then it was just like a bunch of buildings that weren't even open. And the fact that like now I literally go there and I'm wearing these pieces there, like it's just kind of like, wow, like time has really gone by so fast. But I do very much remember the Solar Sports Bra. I'm pretty sure I have her in one of the bags that I'm looking at right now that's like really old pieces. But she was a nice classic racerback scoop sports bra, like super simple, super basic in a way that's like just more of an essential. And so I love seeing her come back. I do hope we get to see her in some plain colors. As you guys know, I'm not a holographic girly, but I love that the design came back, and I love seeing her in an eco poly. So I personally wore a large in the content that we had created. However, I would have preferred a medium just because I found that the eco poly was quite stretchy and forgiving. However, the side boob coverage was a little bit like not as much as I'd like, but it was kind of expected knowing how the solar bra design has always been. And like I said, it's just a very traditional like racer back, front and back kind of situation. So I would say that I wish there was a little bit more side coverage on the Soul Sports Bra. Same thing with the Soul Sports Bra as we saw with the notch. It does have that inner hem so that it's a very, very sleek design on the front and you don't see much hems happening or seams or anything like that. And like I said, just a very traditional cut racer back situation going on with this one. Another one that would be great for underneath a t-shirt where you don't want a lot of detail coming through. All right, moving into shorts. Obviously, we needed to have 2 different lengths of the legacy shorts. I said this in the last collection, but I absolutely love that they are bringing out more than just one inseam length for the legacy shorts. You guys know the legacy shorts are probably the most essential bottom. Whether it's the shorts or the leggings, they are the essentials to anyone starting with the collection, or if ever you want to be safe with a piece of a specific color that you want to get or anything like that. And so I do love that they're coming out with 2 different inseams recently in the collections just for some variety based on your preference. Honestly, I go back and forth on whether I like the 4-inch or the 6-inch. I think it really just depends on how much I'm feeling myself, to be so for real with you. What I do like about the 6-inch is that it's pretty easy to kind of like scrunch up to make them like more of a 5-inch maybe, because I know 4-inch sometimes it's like, okay, my booty cheek is quite literally right at the edge of the hem and could come out depending on what I'm doing. So I very much go back and forth, but you guys know when it comes to 4 inches, I'm going with a medium just to give me a little bit of forgiveness there due to the shortness. Then that means my waist is a little bit tighter, but then the 6 inches is nice because it's overall just safe zone. And I do a small with that one because I have that extra length in the legs. I'm not as worried about the shortness and the tightness of it because I do have that extra length there. I don't know if the girl math makes sense, but that's just how I've always gone about the legacy shorts in the 2 different lengths, and it has always worked out for me. And I just, like I said, I think it really just depends on how much I'm feeling myself that day. So both the 4-inch and the 6-inch are coming in the same 3 colors and no changes there, just your usual go-to bestseller fan favorite legacy shorts. Next up, we have the Vida seamless 6-inch shorts, which is the ones that I'm wearing right now. I'm sitting, so it doesn't really super matter, but I do love the 6 inches for this set. Like the way that they just look together looks so, so good. And the waistband on this is just so snatching. Like they really, really killed it with the waistband on the Vida seamless bottoms. It's just so nice. And the one thing that makes the Vida seamless bottoms so unique is going to be the V-back happening in the back. Now, I was a little nervous about this one because of how the POSHKNIT V-back did not work on me whatsoever. Those V-back POSHKNIT leggings are just not for me. But these Vida seamless V-back is working for me. It's nice and subtle, like it's nothing too crazy. It's a very subtle V-back, which is really nice and flattering. And I didn't realize how much I'd love it until I realized like if it's done right and if it fits well on my body, it definitely is like a nice little added detail touch that just changes your traditional waistband and just, again, allows to give you like a little bit more curvature happening in your body through the illusion of the, activewear that we wear. And so I think they did a really good job of this V-back seamless. One thing that you will notice is that this seamless does have the scrunch glute situation happening that we honestly I've probably seen in every single seamless bottom that we've had recently, but you'll notice that it's a little bit thicker. That's probably the one thing that I noticed right away, was that it was a little bit of a thicker elastic. And I was like, what's the reason for this? So there is a specific reason for this, and that's because with the traditional thinner one, what was happening was that the V was dipping too low. And if you don't want to have to worry about what kind of underwear to wear with this, or like it's showing your butt crack when you squat or anything like that, they really wanted to be mindful of how low that V came. And so with that one specifically, they had to do this specific elastic in between the glutes so that you could still get that separation, but it wasn't pulling down that V too far back. So the way that Teresa had said this was, it was a structure thing. The thin one pulled on the V dip, resulting in the dip going too low. It's also meant to reinforce the scrunch so it doesn't split and show your booty hole. Very specifically is what she said. So that is the reason why you'll notice that the glute separation elastic is a little bit different from the the ones that we've traditionally seen, but I still think that it does separate the glutes really nicely. I will say that it's just like a little bit more obvious now that there's that scrunch, where with the other seamless that we've seen, it's not as in your face that there's like a separation elastic. So that's one thing, is that it is significantly thicker than the original one. So it's just like a little bit more noticeable, but I'm still rocking my seamless anywhere and everywhere, whether that's a workout class or out and about. Does not bother me. I mean, when you're already separating the glutes, you're already kind of bringing attention to the glutes, you know? So it's like a thicker elastic is not going to make it any different than what it already was going to be, in my opinion, with all this whole glute tucking situation happening with, you know, all the seamless leggings and even other leggings too, right? Like, I just think it's something that is kind of expected and just like part of the whole glute tucking situation. I don't know. I don't feel any sort of way about it. I just think it's something that to acknowledge and just like be very honest about. So yeah, I think that the Vida seamless shorts were so great, and I'm so happy with them. And again, the ombre is just so freaking beautiful. Now, I will say when it comes to the seamless bottoms, I am getting a little bit of camel toe, but I do naturally get a bit of camel toe in all of the seamless, like some more than others. Like I think it was the Shape Seamless Flare. Those were bad camel toe, like really bad. You know, the old BBL leggings, that could be pretty bad as well. And so I would say that the Vida seamless is not nearly as bad as those ones. So I think it really, again, as we've said many times, depends on the anatomy of your girly pop down there, if you're going to get more camel toe or not. And so, yeah, I find that I get it more in the leggings than I do in the shorts, which I think makes sense given kind of like just the length of the pant and everything like that, and being able to like kind of scrunch the fabric and stuff to kind of eliminate all the bunching happening and all that stuff. Just, you know, camel toes in general are just such a thing to have to deal with, and such a thing to navigate between using underwears or panty liners or bunching your fabric or whatever. I wouldn't necessarily recommend sizing up, because I think that if you have too much extra fabric, that's just going to ask for a camel toe, in my opinion. So I think you have to be very mindful of that. So yeah, like I said, get a little bit of it, but I do find that I'm able to adjust, wear my period panties or anything like that, and that is totally all good. And like I said, with the V dip, you definitely don't have to worry about what underwear you're wearing, because I do think that it was a very modest V back happening. So I think we're all good there. But yeah, especially in the waistband, I don't know, like, yes, it looks very small when you're holding it up, but once it's on, like, she's on and she's good. And like I said, for myself personally, with my body type, everything rolls a little bit. Everything, you know, is just like a situation with my midsection, no matter what size I get. So I'm kind of used to it. But like right now sitting, like, I don't know if you can tell, but my waistband here has just been kind of like a little bit folded and rolling a little, but nothing crazy. But I love the compression of the waistband and like the height of the waistband. I think it's so good. And like I said, I definitely think these are some of my favorite seamless that we've seen in a minute. So just, you know, great job on that as always. Do I like her more than my Miracle leggings? No, I still love my Miracle seamless a lot, but these ones would be next for sure. I will say that these are made of the Shape seamless, so the overall material is the same as we've seen in the seamless leggings recently. It's just obviously the design is different, the colors and the overall structure a little bit. All right, next we have the Flirty Flow shorts, which we have seen before. Now, I had a whole situation with them, and I think it was due to me just figuring out the sizing and like what I liked and what I didn't like. But now that I've actually had the proper sizing for a minute, and I've ran in them and I've gotten used to, you know, running shorts in general, because I would say like these are like our first true running short that kind of checked a lot of the boxes. With that like overlapping tulip situation, I think that totally changed the game in like a double layer short working for a lot of different sports and people and preferences. And so I have to say that I am a newfound lover of the Flirty Flow bikini cut shorts now that I have my proper size. I am in fact a medium in these shorts, and now that I have mediums in previous colors and these ones, I am reaching for them all the time for running, because you truly just feel so free, not restricted, and they just feel so good for that kind of exercise. And even walking the dogs and everything, like, it just feels so free and breathable and literally flowy. And so I do really like the Flirty Flow shorts. They are quickly becoming one of my favorite double layered shorts to be reaching out for, that I need almost every single color in. I still have the short ones as well. However, I will say that the bikini is definitely winning at my ultimate favorites. I definitely don't have that whole like diaper look anymore now that I have the right size. So if you were concerned about that, don't worry if you are getting your right size. I think the lighter colors will definitely show the underwear cut a little bit more, but I think that's just something that's like a given. But yeah, loving the Flirty Flow shorts even more as I continue to wear them. And like I said, as I've figured out my sizing. So no changes there since we first saw them other than, like I said, figuring out my size. So if you were someone that you're like, oh, these didn't really work for me, try sizing up and that might be the cure to the issue. So again, they're high rise. They have that drawstring in the inside. They're 4 inches on the outside, 4 inches on the inside when it comes to the boy short liner. But then it is 3 inches on the outer shell for the bikini liner. I will say one thing is that they're not very sweat wicking by any means. Like when I've ran outside and gotten sweaty, like you can definitely feel it for sure. So don't think that you're not going to see sweat or feel the sweat either, but just the flowiness of it, especially like I said, if you're running or anything, like it does help kind of keep things cool and keep things breathable. I have my 10K coming up next weekend, which is so crazy, and I am 1000% wearing my Flirty Flow shorts. Moving on to leggings, we have our usual legacy leggings. Like you can't have a collection without legacy leggings. Like I think we've already established that when we don't see a legacy legging, we're like, what's going on? So not much to talk about there. It's our usual legacy legging that we always love to see. We love her. She's a staple. She's an essential. She's a bestseller. She is just your go-to girl. Then we have our POSHKNIT Scrunch Pocket Legging. Again, this POSHKNIT pieces have such long names, but we do have this one, and this one is new. So if you guys are starting to come around to the POSHKNIT and you guys want the pockets, or if in general you just want another new pocket legging, then these POSHKNIT Scrunch Pocket Leggings are going to be a new one that you might want to add. I will say that the team is constantly kind of reworking the POSHKNIT fabric just based on a lot of the feedback and the trial and error and all the different washes, stretches, all those things. I'm honestly like not really sure on like which ones to refer to anymore when comparing this one. I feel like POSHKNIT is basically like NUBRE, but a little bit more compressive, not tight in like a bad way, but just a little bit more compressive, but it's not in a way that I feel like I need to size up significantly. Now, I will say if you look back on my reviews and you want to clock me for what I've said on POSHKNIT leggings, a lot of the times the reasons that I've said to size up was due to the rise. Now, the rise on these pocket leggings though are perfect, so I didn't feel the need to size up. Just want to make that very, very clear that the only reason in the past that I more so sized up was because of the rise, which I think is why it overall felt just like so tight in general, was like the rise wasn't fitting. It's also a little bit more compressive. So like it just was a recipe for disaster for me. I do know that the Estes print specifically was a bit tighter in general. So, and that was the only POSHKNIT legging that I had gotten the first time we saw POSHKNIT leggings was the Estes print. So I don't feel like I have a fair kind of baseline to compare to. The only other POSHKNIT leggings that I've gotten since then is the V-back ones, which through the legs, it was fine, but that V-back and the camel toe and that was just so bad. But I did say that the colors, the plain colors in the POSHKNIT V-back definitely felt way better than the Estes print. So I do think that that was kind of my specific scenario and situation in all of my opinions around POSHKNIT leggings. But these ones specifically, I will say the smalls fit just fine. They did come higher, which I did love. You guys know me, I'm like such a high-rise, ultra high-rise girly, and like it's so rare for someone with a short torso to say that, but it just is so me, and I personally love it. And so, yeah, I think the POSHKNIT pocket leggings will be a new favorite for some people. If you are looking for something that is like the NUBRE, but just a little bit more compressive, you love that brushed fabric. And again, the BUFFBUNNY collection team has made it very, very obvious that they are playing around with perfecting the POSHKNIT. So I do feel like they will feel different every single time you order it since we've seen them, only because they're really trying to nail it down to be different from NUBRE and be its own. And so I think that's just something that's like a work in progress. But something to really identify in these ones is that the pockets actually come up a lot higher on these than they do in some of the previous pocket leggings that we've seen in the past. So previously I'd say that we'd seen them a little bit lower, and I find that when you do put your phone in it or anything, it kind of comes a mid-thigh, which for some people that was something that bothered them. Doesn't personally bother me at all, but it is something that has been stated by customers or other athletes. So they did bring it up, not only for that, but also just design wise for these leggings, it worked out. And I personally love where it is. And I think that it just adds like another snatching effect to the leggings than it already does have. And I do love that they did the bonded edge at the top of the pocket just to really keep it like as sleek of a design as possible and keep it as non-bulky as possible as well, even though you are adding the pockets, because definitely sometimes when adding the pockets, it can definitely add a little bit of bulk to the sides. Never has bothered me. It was just something that, again, I saw more as like, oh, we're just snatching me in a little bit more. But I will say I'm not a pocket legging girl, but I have been really enjoying these POSHKNIT scrunch pocket leggings. I've worn them more than I've worn any of my other outfits, which is so surprising because one, it's blue. Two, it's POSHKNIT, which I had so much hate for. Not, okay, I don't want to say hate, but I had so much shit to say. And then three, it has pockets. You know, like it's just like, who are we? So I think it just goes to show, like, as the improvements have been, you know, taking place and new designs have been coming out, I'm really starting to find a little bit of a love and appreciation for the POSHKNIT. As for the elastic, again, it's not like your aggressive scrunch where like it's literally like an accordion elastic. It's just a elastic down the butt, just to add a little bit of that glute tuck opportunity if we wanted to separate the glutes, but it's not like an actual scrunch where, like I said, the best way for me to describe it is like an accordion. So don't get that mixed up. So I do wish that they didn't say scrunch for this legging because I don't feel like it's a true scrunch. I think it's more of just a elasticized glute seam situation, you know? So that is the POSHKNIT scrunch pocket legging. Coming back to my dream heathered leggings, since you guys know that I love the Twilight heather bra so much, but we do have the leggings to go with them. They are a 26-inch inseam, so one of our longer ones for sure. Just like the POSHKNIT scrunch leggings, they're both 26 inches, so I do get a little bit of extra fabric in both, but I am literally 5 3/4. Everything is going to be extra fabric on me, so it's never something that I'm like, ugh, or anything like that. It's like, it's literally expected, you know? So the Dream Heather leggings, I feel, do fit the exact same as we recently just saw them in the One More collection. So if you loved the improvements there, which I personally loved so much, then you will like these ones. If you want to compare to like the first time we saw them, I want to say it was in Warrior. I just love how much more stretchy these ones are, how much more like softer these are. The higher rise on these, the camel toe isn't there. Like, I just love this new and improved version so much that we've been seeing this year. And so if you guys had all those thoughts from like the original ones that we saw a while ago versus the ones that we've been seeing this year specifically, then you guys may want to add some more. Like I said, it's just such a nice, soft, and like stretchy material. Like I said, she's definitely not like a sweat wicking material or anything like that. She's more on like the aesthetics, mobility, comfy vibes. Like, I do wear her to Legree and stuff, but again, like in Legree, you're not doing anything super high intensity or anything like that where, you know, I might want a NUBRE or an Eco Poly or Perform fabric or anything like that. But as I've said many, many times, I know we have the pillars at BUFFBUNNY collection, but truly, I am just not a pillar girl. I am like, I fucking wear all of this stuff anytime, all the time. Like, there's nothing that really has me being like, of course, there's like running and stuff, and there's sometimes, or like if I know I'm going to be out with the dogs all day, like there's certain materials that I'll, you know, gravitate towards most, that I'm like not snagging anything and ruining anything. But like, for the most part, like 90% of the time, I am wearing cardio doing mobility doing lifestyle, or whatever. Like, I am mixing them all. So I personally don't really follow the pillars. I understand them, but they're just personally not something that I follow those rules, because I'm just like, I live in activewear, you know, like I very much live in activewear. So that's like saying that I'm not going to wear this phantom waist jacket when I'm just running errands. Like, absolutely I'm going to be, but I also could be wearing it on a run, you know? So yeah, me and the pillars, I'm just like, don't quite get them for me, but I also understand them for like easy categorization. So just wanted to add that in general when it comes to the Dream Heather fabric. I know it kind of went left field on talking about fabrics, but anyways, Dream Heather leggings, they are the same as we recently just saw them, and I love them very much because of the reasons that I've already said. So next up, we have the Vida seamless leggings. I know I talked a lot about the shorts, and I very much feel like they fit the exact same as a legging, just obviously more fabric to cover your entire legs. Like I said, I do find that I got a little bit more camel toe with the leggings than I did with the shorts. And I think it's just due to the extra fabric that you have in your legs and, you know, whatever scientific explanation that is of having more fabric. I don't know. I'm not even going to try. But anyways, I did notice that, wanted to state that, that's all. But overall, the waistband, the overall fit, my sizes are all the same for both the shorts and the leggings. So I don't have much to say differently for the leggings versus the shorts. And again, do love the Vida seamless sets in general if you have not put 2 and 2 together. These ones are 24 inches. So like I said, the Dream Heather and the POSHKNIT are more on the longer side, where these ones are more on like the shorter side, aka like perfect length for someone like me. But I don't think any of the taller girls have said anything bothersome about the Vida seamless leggings. If anything, a lot of people are saying that, again, the Vida seamless pieces are some of their new favorites for sure. Just that snatching waistband, that V back, and just the glute separation, and like maybe the colors too, just these Vida seamless are just so, so good. Now, of course, the holographics had to come out in a legging. And so we are seeing the Rebel legging V2 come back because it is going to be in that eco poly. It is the holographic. They did make some changes that I don't think everyone is loving, and that is that they did bring down the front and the back by 1/2 inch, and they did open up the hips a little bit as well. So I know a lot of people do love the original Rebel V2. So just something to note that they did make some changes that I do have on the screen as well as in the PDF. So I personally felt fine with my size small. Again, I've also lost some weight. So even though with Eco Poly, like I said, sometimes I do have to like for sure size up. These ones I felt like I could stay pretty true to size. So I would say true to size should be fine. So just again, something to keep in mind for those who do love the Rebel leggings, that there are just like a few different changes here. I would say if you're in between sizes, I would size up because it is that eco poly, which is a little bit more compressive, but remember that there is also that bit of stretch. So it kind of depends. Like usually when you're wearing eco poly, you are wearing it for like your more high intensity activities and stuff. So you do kind of want it to be more compressive and like staying in place. Cause I know even for me, even though there have been pieces where I'm like, yeah, I'd rather like size up or something, it is kind of nice when it is like your true size that's a little bit tighter, that like nothing moves. So I know that these leggings specifically would be great for like running or jumping or anything like that. So yeah, those are the Rebel legging V2. Hello, Halo Baby T and Halo Full T. We love that we are seeing a new full length top for the girlies who love the full length tops. And so if you guys love the Halo tops that we've been seeing and you guys are like, give me a full length, we now have a full length. The biggest thing to make a note of is that they are the exact same. The detailing is the same. Everything is the exact same. We just have a full length. So if you're not into the baby tee style, you now have an option for a full length style. Remember that these Halo tees are meant to be breathable and light and so comfy and nice to the touch, but they are not going to be the most sweat wicking. They actually probably absorb more sweat than anything, because the minute that we start sweating, you are seeing it come through in that material. So just keep that in mind, that if you are hoping that this is a, you know, performance like t-shirt, it is definitely not that. But I do love the airiness of it, the breathability of it, and just the nice feeling of it on the skin. And it's just such a great top to throw over, like I said, a sports bra if you're going out for a walk, an errand, and don't want to be in a sports bra, whatever that might be. So I think these are great tops for that. Like I was even thinking like these are great tops to like pack in like your purse or like your carry-on bag if you want like a change of shirt, but you don't want anything too heavy. I think these are great for that. So definitely a very unique piece that has been doing quite well, it seems, with how many times we've seen her come back, but now in a full-length version. So again, like I was saying, be mindful though of the bras that you wear underneath if it bothers you. For some, that you might not care about the kind of bra that you're wearing underneath and the different seams that you're going to see from that bra through the shirt, but because the material is so thin, so light, you do see all of the detail there. Same with like the rolls and stuff. Like I know for myself, I notice that I can literally see everything in the Halo tees, but like I said, I love the concept of them and the overall intention of them as well. Okay, but like how freaking cute is this Vida baby tee? Like I'm not gonna lie, it definitely makes you think of like a kid's t-shirt. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. However, she is so cute and just the design of it is so Mexico. Like the culture that you see immediately in this baby tee is just so cute and just so like heartwarming, you know? And so I do think that it's a great additional piece to the collection to really, really embrace the culture. And I think they just did a really good job of like adding something very special there. And so again, I do think of it as like a kid's t-shirt, I'm not gonna lie, but it does actually look super cute on. I do have it in the teal color, as you can see. And she's just your traditional 100% cotton t-shirt, nothing special about her when it comes to material or design. It's truly just like, kind of like another graphic tee, but like in a baby tee. Like that's basically what it is. So I went ahead with a size medium, and as you can see, like she's not super tight or anything like that. But yeah, she is a waist length fit, which is nice. So she's not super cropped. She's not full length. She's literally the waist fit. And honestly, I think that's something that I'm just absolutely loving as a short torso girly is the waist length pieces. They just are so, so good for our body type. And I feel like it's been looking good on the taller torsos as well, but especially for the shorter torsos, like us having a moment here, I feel like these waist length items are just so perfect for us, where the full length sometimes is too long, goes over our hips and just makes us look shorter than we already are. And sometimes the crop is just too cropped. So I really, really love all these waist length options that we're seeing. And so that is the Vida baby tee. Like I said, she's a super cute piece to add. And I will say that the design is not embroidered or anything. It's just the regular kind of like printed on. But again, I think it's such a fun way to like add another option for the graphic tees just to kind of switch it up. All right, last but not least, in the tops, we do have the Vida graphic tee that we always see in every collection. We need to have some sort of a pump cover of something, and that is going to be this one. I actually really love the design of this one, the way that the Vida is on the side. I think it's great, and it's actually a nice like unisex one, like seeing Jordan wearing it, and I know a few other athletes' husbands have been wearing it. It does look really good. I mean, I think all the pump covers are pretty unisex given that it is like a unisex tee, but I think this Vida one is really, really nice. And I love the way that they incorporated the name of the collection, just kind of like vertically on the one side with the ombre. I think that was really pretty. So seeing everyone wearing it with like some of the shorts and stuff looked really, really good. So I feel like there's usually not a whole lot to say about graphic tees, but I like the simplicity of this one. I like that it's not too busy. I like that it's just very much like just the name of the collection and that was it. I actually don't think there is the B anywhere on this one. I think Buff Bunny is just very faintly along the A. So I do love the simplicity of it. On to probably my number one piece of this collection, and that is the Phantom waist jacket that I'm wearing right now in the beautiful hibiscus color. I saw them and I immediately knew that I was going to use my PR allowance to get every single color, which I very much did. Like that is why I did not get the Dream Heather sports bra leggings, is because if there's anything that I feel like is going to sell out fast, it's going to be these jackets. So I said, let me get that on my PR. Okay, let me look out for myself, get it on my PR, and just risk my chances on the Dream Heather pieces, because I feel like these ones are going to go by so fast. One, I feel like it's been a hot minute since we've seen a waist or crop length jacket that is fitted like this one. And so knowing that Teresa did this, I was like, thank fuck, because I feel like we've needed this for so long. I don't know if you remember the Rosa crop jacket, but that was and still is my favorite jacket we have ever seen Buff Bunny collection do. And I don't know why we've never seen her again, but I'm like, hello, would love her. But this is definitely going to be my next favorite option, because I love what they did with the collar, just bringing her a little bit shorter here. I love that we have it at waist length, of course. Love the double zipper. I won't personally use the double zipper a lot, but I think it's a nice little touch there. And then they did change the thumb holes a little bit from the last time we saw the Phantom jacket. So just keep that in mind. It's actually, I don't know if I'm getting all my thumb holes mixed up, but I have the light gray one, which I want to say is from Rebel. And then we have the one from Kara's collection, which I have it in like the Journey Dark Brown. So maybe actually the thumb holes are the same as the 7 Deadly Sins ones. My brain right now is not remembering, but either way, these are the thumb holes. Previously, we've seen it just like a regular, just like a slit. And so these ones are kind of I can't remember what the name was, but there's a specific name with how they overlap, but we love the thumb holes. We love the fabric that she's made of. She's definitely kind of like a performance-like fabric. So like I said, she would be great for running or any adventures that you want to stay nice and, a little bit warm, but not as warm as say a Colorado jacket. As far as the sizing, I do feel like the medium is my most true size, where I feel like it's comfortable in the arms, in the bust, where I'm not struggling to zip it up. The back doesn't feel too restrictive or anything like that. the one thing that has been a hot topic of conversation is the way that it flares out at the bottom. We've seen this in the Revolution tanks. I can't remember where else we've seen this, but I feel like that was the first time that we've saw this whole flare situation happening at the bottom. I know the intention behind that was more so for those with hips, that it does lay nicely on your curves. Now, not obviously, especially someone like myself, I don't have much curves, so I'm not thinking about that, but I do understand and see how that could be something that would be a nice added touch for different body types. I personally would have loved if, yeah, this didn't kind of like come out as much and if it was more just straight, because it is going to hopefully land on like the small of your waist for the most part for everybody. I do see how it does allow for like a lot of flexibility, like even sitting here, sometimes jackets that do, come in tight there at the bottom with that hem, when you're sitting, like you can really feel it. So not only are you feeling it with your waistband, but you're also feeling it with the bottom of your jacket. So I think that that opening, now that I'm like sitting in this for a long time, is kind of nice to give some allowance there in general. I notice the flare, but does it bother me like a lot where I'm like, I'm not getting that jacket or I'm not reaching for this jacket? Absolutely not. I am reaching for this jacket literally throughout the whole spring, summer, fall, winter. Okay. Like it is definitely going to be a go-to jacket for me, but I do like how when I did the small, you don't see it as much at like, if anything at all, just the way that it perfectly hits my small of my waist and stops right before my hips do start. So you'll see in the picture, I have a small in the azul and then I have a medium in the hibiscus. And you can tell that the flare definitely isn't as apparent in the azul, and it literally could not be more perfect where the little bit of flare starts on the azul is right where my hips is. So that's why you can't really tell. Where with the medium, it's not even like the flare really flares out. I think it's more so that it just doesn't cling to the body. It doesn't hug the body at the bottom, I think is the biggest thing that's kind of maybe like throwing everyone off a little bit, is like maybe a mixture of the both. But I find that with the medium, it doesn't necessarily like flare overly exaggerating or anything. It's more so that it just isn't fitted there. Like it just kind of comes, like it just is out there, So that's my best way to describe this whole like bottom flare situation that everyone's kind of like talking about and like expressing how they feel about it, is that it's more so that it just doesn't lay flat on the tummy as most jackets would, essentially. Like there's not like a tight elastic band at the bottom or anything like that that's really hugging you in there. But like I said, I still love these jackets so much, and I would say my true size is a medium. This small doesn't feel that much more restrictive in the arms. Like you could definitely feel it, it's a bit tighter, but it's nothing that like I'm not going to wear my small. I will say though, do not size down if you're going to get black, because I did try a small in the black when I was trying on like sizes, and immediately that one did feel significantly tighter, but this azul small doesn't feel as bad. And so generally blacks will always fit a little bit tighter, whether that's any pieces, any fabrics, whatever, blacks will always fit a little bit tighter. So I will say that if you're kind of like, oh, I want to try a smaller size in this jacket and I'm going to get black, I would still stay with your true size, even if you're trying to combat that flare situation at the bottom, just because black is tighter in general. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this, is that the medium is my more true. The small, I definitely have to struggle a little bit to like get the zip all the way up, but like literally all you have to do is this and it's like good to go. And it's not like it splits the zipper or anything like that. So you could size down, but I would honestly say stay true to your top size. My true top size is a medium. I know that might seem confusing that like my bra size is a large, sometimes a medium, but my top size when it comes to jackets or anything like this is always a medium. That's just how I've always been, is that tops are always a medium for me. So whether that's t-shirts, whether that's like the halo tees, whether it's these jackets, I've always gone with a medium. I can do small for like that extra fitted situation. Large, I just get too much extra fabric. But yeah, the small is always like my concern, is like my broadness, and then just like right here with my shoulders and my arm here. So just to recap, because I threw so many sizes at you, I am a true medium for all tops, not bras, tops. And that's just what has worked best to kind of accommodate all the different things in my upper body. So absolutely crushed it with the waist length phantom jacket. Love seeing the phantom back, love seeing the waist length, love the colors, everything like that. Like I said, I don't think anyone would be upset if we brought in the flare to be a little less, like maybe keep it a little bit, but like a little bit more in somehow. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the phantom jacket. She is my number one pick. Okay. I don't even have to think about it. She is my number one pick. I've had to pick one thing. It is her. Like I said, I needed her in every single color, and I sacrificed PR items just so I could have every single color, So this is the one time I had to look out for me, not you guys. So sorry. Very last clothing piece and the first of its kind. Literally, Teresa was telling me they have never seen a reversible bodysuit anywhere. So Buff Bunny might have done the very first one ever, but this is your Perform fabric reversible bodysuit. And we have a twist design in the front with a little keyhole at the tummy. And then we have a plain design on the back, or I guess neither one of them is front or back, but you can reverse it. And I think it's so cool how they were able to do that, because just thinking of the logistics of that, of making sure that it works for the backside, your glutes, but then the front of your body and your waist and the bust and everything, like just the logistics of making sure that whatever side you wear it, it works, is incredible. So that is a science in itself. So really good job design team on figuring that out, because I'm like, the math to figure that all out is crazy, like measurements wise, opening, and just where you lay the seams and everything. I'm like, that is some serious like work to figure out. So I think they absolutely crushed it. When I first put it on, I was like, wow, like I did not expect to like it so much. I think that people will have their thoughts on this bodysuit in general because it is shorts. I think that shorts bodysuits can very much sometimes be interpreted as looking like a wrestling bodysuit. I personally am a bodysuit lover. I love my bodysuits so freaking much. That is all you'll see me wear in the summer, whether it's full length, whether it's shorts. You know, I love my bodysuits so much. They're just such a mindless decision of what to wear in the day. So I personally love them a lot, but yeah, I think that especially because these ones are shorts, not everyone's going to absolutely love them. But I do think that overall, when I look at the bodysuit, think about it and stuff, it is a really great bodysuit. And I actually loved the twisted in the top, in the front the most, which is something that I don't say often when we've seen all the different twisted tops in the last year, because I felt like it's always been just too much cleavage for the BTC. But in this bodysuit specifically, I feel like it was actually a nice amount of coverage. And I know Teresa was saying like they thought about that. They wanted it to be a twist that would work for the BTC. And so I think they really did nail it with how much coverage they ensured was there for the twisted top version of it. And I think even when comparing to the itty bitty titty committee, like it looked great on Kara and her girls. They definitely had a little bit of a titty moment. And for me, like I said, like I felt like it wasn't too much out there. I will say I can fit both a small and a medium. I was wearing a small in the pink, and you can definitely tell that I have a lot more underboob going on, and I definitely was adjusting it more. So that one gave me more cleavage inevitably, which was kind of expected, but I did like the overall fit of it more throughout the body. For someone like me, where my sizes are so different top and bottom, bodysuits are always a bit of a struggle, and I have to either choose, okay, do you want the cup coverage or do you want the tightness throughout the body? And so small technically would be like if I wanted it to fit the best throughout my legs and everything like that. But the medium is the best when it comes to being able to still have the nice fit in the body, but definitely have a good amount of coverage in the bust. So yeah, I liked both sizes. I liked that I didn't have to worry so much about the cleavage in the medium. So I'd say that if I had to ultimately choose, knowing that I would wear the twist the most, I would go with the medium, only so that I didn't have to worry so much about the cleavage situation. So yeah, that is what I did for sizing on the bodysuit. And like I said, I personally think that especially wearing it on the twisted side, it definitely took away from it looking like a wrestler's bodysuit. So if you are concerned about that, and just think about the front look, think about the twisted being in the front the most of the time. The keyhole part I think was a nice little touch to just add a little bit more skin without it being like showing your belly button or anything. Because I'm like, if it showed my belly button, I think it'd feel a bit weird, but it definitely does not. And that was something intentional that they had played around with a lot as well. So yeah, the twisted keyhole option is definitely my favorite option of the two. One thing for sure is that you want to take out the bust pads depending on what way you're wearing it, or else it kind of looks like you have two random humps on your back. So that's something that we figured out a lot when we were shooting for the campaign and the photos, is like, oh shit, like we forgot to take out the boob pads and it looks weird. So just something to keep in mind. But I loved how great the bodysuit looked on so many different body types. Everyone just looked so good, and everyone was so comfortable with either one. But yeah, like I said, I was very blown away and surprised by how much I loved the twist in the front. So really, really amazing job on a reversible bodysuit. This is going to be made of that Perform fabric, which again is that performance-like fabric. So it's sweat wicking and it is very stretchy as well. So just keep that in mind. So if you are in between, like I said, depending on, you know, if you want to size more for your lower body or your upper body, that's kind of what it depends. The other day on our Libra Sisters Live, actually, we were talking about how the word of advice that Kara and Teresa give is actually to go based on your widest circumference of your body, which makes sense because for me, I do think about my bust a lot, but like I said, sometimes I'll sacrifice because I want it to be fitting on my lower body. But for Teresa, she was saying like she thinks about her hips the most. So I think that's a great rule of thumb. But as I say that, like I said, it just really depends on what is your most important thing to fit perfectly and what are you willing to give up so that you get that perfect fit is basically like the way that I think about it when I've chosen bodysuit sizes, which you guys, if you guys have watched my videos, you guys know how like, and if, but I am about bodysuit sizing. And so hopefully my many times of saying the same thing has helped you guys figure out what bodysuit size to go ahead with. All right, last but not least, we have our accessories. So the first one we have is our scrunchies. No change there. They are going to be made of the NUBRE fabric. So if you guys are loving the NUBRE scrunchies, then you do have it in many different colors this collection. The one thing that I loved so much immediately when we started shooting was the scrunch socks. I have always said, like, I have more than enough scrunch socks. I do not need any more. But when I saw that these ones had the matching colors in the logo to the colors in this collection, I was like, yes, we need to do this more often because I feel like we have the standard black B logo in all the scrunch socks. So like, why not add the collection colors to the logo now going forward whenever they come out with more scrunch socks? I think that's so great. Teresa was saying that she did want actually colored scrunch socks to match the collection. So like we would have gotten like the tequila sunrise, but like in the actual sock itself, like it wouldn't have been white, like it would have been actually tequila sunrise. And I actually think that'd be a fun thing to play around with because we did see some colored ones late last year. I can't remember which collection that was, but we saw like the mocha berry and everything like that. And I actually loved that we had some color variation rather than it just always being white. Like I know the white is something that will always all go to whenever we want to complete an outfit, but I don't know, at least having the logo color be different to match the collection, I think is something that they should do every single collection because like I said, the black is just so standard. We all have the Black Bunny logo. So like, I think change it up, you know, change it up. So I do love that a lot. So I did have to get that for sure. Even though I said I don't need more scrunch socks, I was like, no, I need the color theme logo on my scrunch socks for this one. And then last but not least, we have this incredibly massive new pillow tote in the full size. Like she literally would take up the whole camera screen if I had her here, but you guys saw the mini one a little while ago, which was definitely a little teaser, a little taste to the bigger one here, and very much similar design, just literally blown up. And she is just basically your like magic bag of endless opportunities because you can fit so much in her. My whole PR package fits in her and I still have some room. It does have a laptop compartment as well. And it does have this like elastic part, the magnetic clasp to secure your laptop. Something that I've been loving a lot about this is how it fits any size tumbler in here. So I have the big Awala, I have the big hydro jug, and they all fit very comfortably in here, even without me zipping it down, at least the Awala that I just tried earlier. But I love that we have this zipper compartment here to expand the cup holder so that literally any size tumbler will fit in here. So I think that was a really great addition and detail that they added to this. And then they do also have the magnetic clasp here as well. Oh, we're gonna display this. So this is the huge like 40-ounce Awala. Without me unzipping this, it does fit comfortably like that. Isaiah also has the 40-ounce hydro flask, and it also fits comfortably without me even opening this. I feel like I'd only have to open this for the hydro jug because of the handle, but the fact that it fits all of the big water bottles I think is huge, given that we're all just hydrated girlies needing the big 40-ounce jugs. So they do have it on both sides as well, which is really nice. So it doesn't matter what way you're carrying the bag, it does have that. The bag also has a zipper, so you don't have to worry about that. There is still the openings on the side, even though if you zip it all the way up, like there is still those openings there. So just keep that in mind. But I think this is such a great like endless opportunity bag. Like if you want something to just like, oh yeah, that's a 40-ounce one. Isaiah found the hydro jug with, this is the 40 ounce and then this is with the handle. So let's see if this is one of those instances where you have to open. Oh yeah, so I think just like I was saying, you have to open it for the hydro jug because of the handle. But other than that, it does fit. I think I'd have to, yeah, it doesn't go over the handle necessarily, but it does still fit comfortably. I would be worried of it falling out, but I'd have to, oh, I wonder if you can fit it a bit more. No, I think that's the bottom. So yeah, it's not as secure, I would say, as like the ones without a handle, but it does fit. Like she's in there, you know, I think she's just not as secure, but I think she'd actually be okay. I think you'd be fine. I don't think it'd like if you like bent over to pick something off the ground and you had this on your shoulder, it might fall out, but I think they all would. But yeah, no, the fact that everything fits is pretty awesome in the cup holders. So yeah, and then we also have a zipper on the inside as well, so that's nice. And then it does come with a strap to a matching strap that you can clip on if you wanted. I will say she is big. She is literally half of my body, but she can fit a lot. Something else is that it does have these little feet at the bottom here, so that when you put on the ground, it just kind of keeps it a little bit protected. It is structured too, so like there is like a little thing at the bottom to keep the structure on the bottom there. And then there is like, you know, the piping on the sides to just, again, keep a bit of its structure even when you do put it down on the ground. And then we do have the B logo in a matching color in the front. Everything is monochromatic, as we've seen in many of the accessories. And I just think that this whole pillow tote has just such a nice soft texture as well. I will say that the straps are a bit long. I honestly would have loved them just like slightly shorter, I think, just because they are so long. But again, I am just short in general. But yeah, that is the only thing that I've noticed. One thing else that other people have noticed is that it does slip a little bit on your shoulders. Teresa was saying they did try to put the grippies, and they don't know if it's because of the heat in Houston or what, but the grippies were just coming off constantly. So like that was something that they just like said, okay, we're just not going to do it. So I will say that when we were lugging around all the photo shoot stuff in this, and I had on my shoulder, like this was falling down a little bit. I think because of the like slippery material and stuff. And then, like I said, with the weight, like it makes sense why it would slip a little bit. But again, I don't think it's like something that would deter anyone from like wanting to use this. I think it's going to be such a great like day trip bag, weekender bag, or like literally throw all my shit in here bag and I got to get out the door kind of thing. So I think that's really great. And like I said, so cute for the summer. I honestly think she'd be such a cute like beach bag, but I just don't know how it would work with all the like water and humidity. So I don't know if that'd be the best beach bag, but you want to be careful with the structure at the bottom. I don't know what material it's made out of, but it's huge. It fits a big laptop for sure. It fits a lot of your things. And yeah, there's just like endless possibilities with this bag, 1000%. And it's just so pretty with the floral decor detailing that you can definitely see like the flower petal here, and just like so awesome that we have this gigantic one compared to the small mini one. So also make sure you go watch the reel where Teresa literally does the out with the old, in with the new trend. And I had to drop down on the floor so aggressively for that reel, for the content, for Teresa. So please make sure you show some love to that one. She like basically knocks me out with the small one and then shows the big one. And yeah, the amount of times I had to fall down on the ground for that one was hilarious. But that is the new Grandioso pillow tote right here. So that brings us to everything in the Vida collection. I love this collection a lot. I clearly didn't have a whole lot of negative things to say, and that's not because Teresa is my Libra sister, but it's because I think that this was something that definitely had the BTC in mind. The details that both the team and Teresa had put into this, like they clearly thought about all the things that anyone has ever said or things that they'll want to think about, you know, when it comes to the consumer trying it. And so you can tell how much they really did collaborate on this. And, you know, if you guys know Teresa, you know she's a detail-oriented girly as well. And so it doesn't surprise me that they thought about all these little things, and they've already addressed a lot of the things as well that some of us may have noticed, like, you know, like the grippy things, like she tried, right? And so just a incredibly well done collection, Teresa and Buff Bunny collection team. I definitely think she's my favorite of this year thus far, and I'm just so excited to wear her over and over and over again throughout this summer with all the beautiful, beautiful colors. Just so, so good. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it was hella long. Don't forget to download the free PDF if you haven't already. If you made it this far and you still haven't downloaded the PDF, I literally don't even know. Okay, I don't know. I've told you guys so many times, but it is completely free, so make sure you guys download that. I will be available on all my socials for any support that I can give if I didn't answer your guys' question here. Again, you guys can use code GABS to save 10% off if you guys want to support me directly. And make sure to enter the giveaways because I need to give these gift cards away to somebody. So you guys have a few different options and ways to win there. And with that being said, Vida, baby. Congratulations again, Teresa and Buff Bunny Collection, on such a beautiful collaboration. I cannot wait to see everyone wearing this and just cue friggin' Ricky Martin Livin' La Vida Loca, because I am so surprised no one has used that audio on any of their content yet, because I'm like, that's the immediate thing that I thought of when I heard Vida. So anyways, live your Vida, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Collection. Damn it, I was going so well. All right, so let's, oh my God, I didn't even do like my regular housekeeping. Watching this on a, and I love how overall the back design is also and I also love how the back design is very, yeah. Like I said, as I was talking, there you go. Wow, I'm doing good. You wanna start a new clip, Isaiah? It's crisscrossing. So just want to make that very clear. I feel like a booger. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But she does look good. I'm literally filming, but I can see you and you're like scrolling, but your eyes are closed. I'm like, what is he doing?